Alright, hello students. This is a answer key for the Activity 3 practice. Make sure that you tried your best and you do study for your test. Alright, so remember, if you need to slow down so that you can catch up or use a calculator or just to rewatch a section, make sure you hit pause, okay? Alright, so first I'm going to put my name at the top. I always do that with every assignment. Alright, so for the first one, I see that I have a constant on both sides, so I will eliminate the constant that's on the same side with my x. Alright, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I see that I'm going to be left with 0. Well, you can still divide 0 by 5, and you're going to see that your answer is x is greater than 0. Alright, make sure that you put a number line. Alright, you center your number line around your answer. Alright, so I'm going to have an open dot because this is not equal to, and then x is greater, so I'm going to shade to the right. Alright, so for the next one, remember, get rid of the constant that's on the same side. Alright, so that's going to be 2. 2/5 x. Alright, so for these, I normally like to get rid of my fraction. So to get rid of my fraction, I got to get rid of the denominator. The denominator is division, so to get rid of it, you multiply. Alright, and then you're left with 2x, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Alright, so you see why you need to have that number line is because you saw how your answer for this one had x on the left side and this one has x on the right side. It gets kind of confusing when you have an answer key and all your x's are on the left. So if you have a number line, it's very easy to look at the number line and see the answer. Alright, so make sure you center your solution right there. Alright, so 0, and then it says x is less than, so I'm going to shade to the left. Alright, so you're probably wondering how you can check your solutions. Well, it's actually pretty simple. So for number 10, I need to pick an answer that's less than 5, right? Well, I like to pick 0, right? 0 is a really good number. If I plug in 0, this will be 6 plus 0. So is 8 bigger than 6? Well, I think so. So this is a good answer, I think. Alright. So on to the next one. Get rid of the constant that's on the same side. Negative 3x less than or equal to positive 3. Alright, so I see that I have to divide both sides by negative 3. And because I divide by negative, I'm going to flip my inequality the other way. Alright, and then 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. Alright, so let's go ahead and put our number line here. Alright, center our solution. Okay, this is greater than or equal to, so I'm going to have a dot that's closed this time. And this is greater than, so I'm going to shade to the right. Alright, so I see that right here, I can pick any answer that's bigger than negative 1. So, of course, I'm going to pick my favorite number. I think right here, my number is probably... I'm probably going to pick 0 because 0 is a number that's very easy to make work. So let's plug in 0. Alright, that'll be 5 minus 0 is less than or equal to 8. And I definitely think that that would work out for me. So I think that's a good answer, right? Okay, so for number 12, I see that x on both sides. So I'm going to get rid of the smaller one first. Alright, so that will cancel out. I get 3x and 11. Alright, so I can get rid of my constant. That's negative 15. Alright, and then I'm going to divide by a positive 3. I'm going to have this as my answer. Alright, so make sure you have your number line ready. Center it around your solution. And then it says x is less than negative 5. So let's pick shade this way for less than. Okay, let's go ahead and pick a number that's less than negative 5. Well, let's pick negative 100 because I know that's less than negative 5. If I plug in negative 100 here and I plug in negative 100 here, you're going to see you're going to get negative 300 minus 4. That's negative 304. This will be negative 600 plus 11. That's negative 589. Well, negative 589 is definitely less than negative 304, so I think that works. Alright, so over here, get rid of the x that is smaller. Alright. By now, I hope you realize why we choose to get rid of the smaller x. If you have x on both sides, and you get rid of the smaller x, the answer that you are left with is always going to be so that you don't have to divide by a negative. You see how you have negative 8x and then you have 8x right here? If you choose to add 8x to get rid of this side's going to be positive. So if I subtracted x from this side and this side, you would have negative 9x. I like to get rid of the smaller coefficient because doing that is going to leave me with a positive coefficient for x. And when I do that, I don't have to worry about flipping my inequality sign. So it's giving me one less option for me to make a mistake. So that's why I do that. Alright, so I want a closed dot because it says equal to. Alright, and this says x is greater, so shade to the right. Okay. And you can pick an answer that's bigger than 2, or you could even just pick 2 and see if that works. So let's go ahead and just pick 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Alright, so the left side's going to be 0. Negative 8 times 2 would be negative 16. Negative 16 plus 16 would be 0. Well, 0 is certainly greater than or equal to 0, so that works for us. Alright, and then for the last one, you see that you have to distribute. So go ahead and distribute. Notice that when you distribute, you're only multiplying one side by the same thing. So if you have to distribute a negative, you don't ever have to flip your inequality in that situation. Alright, so make sure that you don't do that. If you're paying attention during yesterday's warm-up, will definitely remember. Alright, and then plus 2, and your answer right here would be here. Alright, so make sure you center your number line around your solution. Make sure you have an open dot because you're not going to include that. And this is x is greater, so I'm going to shade over here. And of course, I'm going to pick my favorite number, 0, since 0 is greater than negative 5. Alright, plug in 0, that would be negative 7. If you plug in 0 right here, that would be negative 2. I mean, I'm sorry, that would be 0 minus 1, and then negative 1 times 2 would be negative 2. Alright, and then you do know that negative 7 is less than negative 2, so that answer would work out for me. Alright, make sure that you guys did do your own work. You're just checking the solution, and make sure that you guys know how to make these number lines, because these number lines are important, especially in our next unit. Alright, thank you so much for paying attention. Until the next video.